Hello everyone! Our group is analyzing Best Buy's failure to thrive in European markets. Our group members are Jake, Braden, and Britt. If you're viewing this presentation in PowerPoint, please click the Best Buy logos found on each slide to play the audio. If you're watching in video, just sit back and enjoy. Thanks guys!
I'm sure most, if not all of you, have been to Best Buy, but here are some facts and statistics about the US-based retail company. They are one of the leading consumer electronics retailers in North America, next to Amazon and Apple. Their 2019 revenue was nearly $43 billion. In addition to that, over 90% of their revenue was domestic, and Best Buy saw a 30% decline in stores worldwide since 2013. As I mentioned in the previous slide, Best Buy is very reliant on its revenue coming from the US market. This is largely due to Best Buy's failure to expand internationally, especially in Europe. A recent example is Best Buy Europe, which was a joint venture with a UK-based retailer in which they aimed to open 200 stores in the UK. Best Buy Europe ended up opening only 11 retail stores, and the joint venture was shut down in 2012. The failure of Best Buy Europe can be attributed to their shortcoming in market research, as well as Best Buy using a similar business model, which works in the US, but was not developed for the new market.
On this slide, we will analyze Porter's 5 forces in the consumer electronics industry. Competitive rivalry. Best Buy is an e-commerce giant. They closed many retail locations across North America in 2013, but maintained their online presence and continued to see growth despite this change. Best Buy's primary rivals are Walmart, Amazon, and Apple. With Best Buy's online e-commerce and marketplace options, there are few that rival access to their breadth of products. There are other competitors who have maintained their brick-and-mortar locations who continue to rival Best Buy in this format. Bargaining power of buyers or customers. Consumer electronics have far more buyers than there are retailers. Prices remain fairly constant due to some buyer sensitivity. There is no switching cost, but there is little choice in retailers, so the bargaining power of buyers is moderate. Bargaining power of suppliers. Most of Best Buy's product offering comes from multiple suppliers as they offer so many different products. There is high competition among electronic suppliers, and thus their bargaining power of suppliers is low. Some products have very few suppliers, which increases the supplier bargaining power. Overall, most consumer electronics products have a low bargaining power of suppliers. Threat of new entrants. The consumer electronics industry requires a substantial investment to enter. To get to the size that Best Buy has grown not only requires capital, but a strong built-up network to create an efficient supply chain. This takes time and is difficult to replicate, so the threat of new entrants into this industry is low. Threat of substitute products. Like the bargaining power of buyers, the threat of substitute products is moderate. The product offering that Best Buy offers has substitute products available at other big box stores as well as smaller niche stores.
When it comes to the topic of rules and regulations, the European Union has strict data protection laws for businesses that receive personal data. In 2018, the European Union implemented the GDPR, which stands for General Data Protection Regulation, which allows its citizens to have more control over their personal data. All businesses established in the EU must be GDPR compliant, and a failure to do so will result in the company being fined for up to $20 million. There's also a corporate tax on all permanent establishments, which as of January 2020 includes digital or virtual establishments as well. On to the economic and socio-cultural factors. The economic system in the European Union is a mixed economy with a combination of a free market as well as state-owned markets. The European Union is the second largest consumer market in the world, and the US and EU combined make up half of the world's economic output. Europe also has some of the highest gross net income countries as well, such as Switzerland and Norway, and the retail market in Europe generated over $250 billion in 2017. The total revenue for the consumer electronics industry is expected to show an annual growth rate of 5.4% throughout the next 5 years, and the average user is expected to spend approximately $320 each year on consumer electronics. Another fact is in 2019, 29% of electronic sales were online, while 71% were in store.
Here we will take a look at Best Buy's 4 current strongest resources and capabilities with VRIO analysis. Their strongest tangible resources are their physical stores. 70% of US residents live within a 10-mile radius of a Best Buy store, meaning they're placed to minimize consumer options. Best Buy also follows a showroom model in which customers can come into the store and see all of the products and get a feel for them before purchasing them. Best Buy stores are located in big outlets in malls, which is a preference for American consumers. Best Buy stores in this sense are valuable, rare, hard to imitate as it's extremely costly to do so, and have constructed their stores in a way to minimize these organizational resources. The second strongest resource is Best Buy's employee training program, which has been ranked number 3 on the Training Magazine's 2019 Training Top 125. Best Buy employees receive training through extensive classroom, virtual, video, and online practices. Employee training this focused and detailed is valuable, rare, inimitable in the sense that other companies can see the value it brings and possibly adapt their own practices, but employee training has been organized to exploit these resources as well. We can look at the Geek Squad, which is a specialized subsidiary for product support. This resource is valuable, rare, much harder to imitate because of the time and costs it would take to do so, and it is organized to utilize these resources. Finally, we can look at the brand name itself. Best Buy holds the reputation as one of the biggest electronic big box retailers. Their name has constructed their domestic presence. Their brand name is valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and organized to exploit all their tangible and intangible resources. In this slide, we'll take a look at the 3 resources that Best Buy needs in order to thrive within the European markets. It's important that Best Buy uses the resources to identify the issues that caused their initial failure. The first resource that Best Buy needs is a stronger understanding of foreign consumer markets. Things like understanding that UK residents only shop for electronics once or twice a year and prefer the online market in doing so. Another resource Best Buy needs is the adaptability in marketing or not being too American. A lot of European consumers didn't like how Best Buy marketed itself. They complained that it was too American as Best Buy used American voice actors and American marketing techniques. These marketing techniques just did not sit well with a lot of local shoppers. And the third resource that Best Buy needs is a stronger understanding of foreign store locations or geographical trends. This was a big factor during Best Buy's initial failure in the UK. Best Buy needs to change their store structure if they wish to succeed in the European market. With their first step in the UK, many argued the stores were too big or too far out of town, and a lot of the UK shoppers preferred to shop downtown or closer to home at smaller stores. If Best Buy is able to grasp these resources and understand them if they decide to make a re-entry to the UK or anywhere else in Europe in the future, hopefully these market trends will allow them to achieve international success this time. In this slide, we'll take a look at the two options presented with Best Buy in moving forward. Option one, the first option is to remain and excel in domestic markets. Best Buy has the option to remain outside of the European markets and work on their current domestic strengths, which is maintaining a dominant American big box electronic presence. According to our current domestic strengths are illustrated by Statista's graph of top leading sales of consumer electronics retailers. And according to Statista 2019, Best Buy dominates the North American electronics market, sitting in second for top leading sales of consumer electronic retailers. And in 2015 and 2016 was even ahead of Amazon in North America. As we look at these stats demonstrating Best Buy's history of dominating the market as an electronic retailer, there's no question that they are doing something right. Disadvantage to this option is the potential losses that Best Buy would incur by containing themselves to their own domestic market. For example, according to Investopedia, the UK alone sits as a current top global economy, which is a huge market to simply ignore. And to put that into perspective, we can examine the size of the UK market based on its nominal GDP, which in 2019 had a $3 trillion nominal GDP and an estimated $3.2 trillion nominal GDP in 2020. Again, Best Buy would be missing on a massive market by choosing to contain themselves to only a few markets they're in right now. The second option is Best Buy's attempt to re-enter the European market. Best Buy has the option to make another attempt in penetrating the European market. Best Buy can use their past failures in order to reinforce their business strategies and structures in hope for future growth and international success. An advantage to this option is Best Buy's possibility of success and possible organizational growth. Best Buy can pinpoint their past failures and use those decisions as a basis for improvement and future development. If successful, organizational growth is also imminent due to Europe's huge consumer market. Disadvantage is the possibility of another expansion failure in Europe, which would cause a great dent in the financial and organizational structure of Best Buy. Here we will take a look at our recommendation for Best Buy moving forward in the short run and the long run. In the short run, Best Buy should focus on funding its research and development teams. It's important that Best Buy understands what went wrong in their past international expansion. They need to understand foreign consumer trends, international marketing, and the remodeling of their stores, the exact points of where they went wrong in the past. Although in the short run, Best Buy will forego potential profits if they were to re-enter right away. The risk of a re-entry without any organizational assessment would most likely lead to another failure. In the long run, Best Buy should look to expand and attempt to reattempt to capture the European market. This decision is important for Best Buy because the international expansion of their brand will lead to increased business growth, strong competitive advantage, and entry to new markets. Success in the UK will open an idea of expansion further into Europe, strengthening Best Buy's global market presence even more.
Thanks so much for watching our video. We look forward to answering your questions.